Amen. Good evening, Rabbi. Question is asked, very important question for the Jewish people, which is on Shabbat, are we allowed to comb the hair or to brush the hair? This is something which everybody needs to know about, especially the ladies, because the ladies, if they don't comb their hair, it gives them a very bad feeling. They don't feel right, they don't feel this, whatever. So the question is it allowed to do this on Shabbat or not? Where is this source of this halacha found? It's found in Masechet Nazir, which is considered to be one of the most difficult masechtot, right? Very difficult one to learn. Tough one. There's no Rashi over there also. Rashi didn't do commentary on Masechet Nazir.
Why?
I guess he didn't get a chance. I don't know, whatever, But somebody did it over there. Some say this was his daughters that did it, that commentary. Some say it was the Rashbam, his son, his grandson. Whatever it is, it was somebody there, whatever it was, right? So over there in the Gemara, it says something interesting. It says that you're not allowed to comb the hair on Shabbat. Not allowed to comb the hair on Shabbat. What's the reason why? So it says in the Gemara over there, because you're uprooting the hairs.
Unplucking.
You know what I mean? Right, exactly. It's like, you're doing this uprooting grass, Same thing, right? Balachi. So just like you're not allowed to uproot grass on Shabbat, you're not allowed to uproot also hairs. This is the idea. You're uprooting something from its source.
Hairs they rip,
Yeah. So the Gemara asked over there some questions about this, by the way, which is, okay, it uproots the hairs, but the question is, when it comes to laws of Shabbat, I'm sorry, Mechila. When it comes to Mechila. When it comes to laws of Shabbat, yeah.
It bothers our eyes.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. The light bothers your eyes and the noise bothers me. So we got to get rid of both of them. Okay. Yes, I understand. Sure. So anyway, right, as we said, that the Gemara asked over their question, though, when it comes to laws of Shabbat, there are certain things you have to know in order to understand the laws of Shabbat. It has to be something which is, right, melecha machshevet. What does that mean? Melechet machshevet. You have to want to do that. It has to be your desire, So the question is it your desire when you brush the hairs on Shabbat, when you comb the hair, is it your desire to uproot the hairs? Is this what you really want?
No.
What are you really looking for? Are you looking to make your hair look nice, to be mesader, right? To make it nice and beautiful and neat, right? To make your hair neat? Or are you looking to uproot the hairs? So Gemara asks, you're telling me that it's not allowed to comb the hair on Shabbat because you're uprooting the hairs. The question is that his intention to uproot the hairs? Because if it's not, then it's not really such a big problem. This is enomit kaven, right? That's not his intention. So Gemara says something, a big chidush over there. You know what it says, right? A big novel idea. It says over there, the truth is, when you comb your hair, it is your intention to uproot the hairs. Wow. How does the Gemara know that? What, it reads our minds? The Gemara? What's a mind reader? How does Gemara know that?
Because there were hairy people there.
So why would I want to uproot my hairs? Would I want to become bald? People are, just the opposite, right? They're looking for a way to get rid of baldness. I'm trying to bring baldness on my head to get rid of my hairs? What kind of thing is that, right? So Gemara says over there, big chidush. She says, no, you don't understand what's going on over there. You know what it is? That when you brush your hair on a daily basis, right? Every day you brush your hair, every day you comb your hair. Who doesn't brush their hair every day, right? Only bums, don't brush their hair, right? Normal people brush their hair every day, right? Or twice a day, or 3 times a day, whatever.
I don't brush either because I don't have it.
There's ways to treat that, there are ways. If you're interested, whatever. You can find something.
I'm not sure.
Anyway.
Sanam Baruch Hashem agarat achaginur da Bruno.
Okay. So anyway, as we said, right, that nobody's looking to lose their hairs. So then why would anybody get it? Gemara says that's your intention. So Gemara says, no, you don't understand what's going on. You have to understand the picture over there, what's going on. You know what's going on over there? That a person has these hairs. What happens is that when you brush your hair every day, the hairs get like, not uprooted, but like semi-uprooted, like a little uprooted, Nachibari, palu, So what happens is that they get semi-uprooted every time you brush your hair. Some hairs get semi-uprooted. It's attached, but not attached strong. Like quasi, little bit, 50-50. This is what happens to the hairs over there. The rabbis were smart. They know everything. They know what's going on in your hair. They know everything about what's going on, right? So that's the thing, right? So they're telling you that it's not a good idea to do that. Why? Because those hairs, which are semi-uprooted, this time now when you come to brush your hair, right, it's going to uproot those hairs that are semi-uprooted, It's going to give one more shot, One more makkah it's going to give, and it's going to uproot it altogether. So Gemara says, this, you want that. You want that. Even though you're not thinking about it, but you do want it. Why? Good question, right? Very good question. Anybody know the answer to that? Believe me, if you weren't learning this Gemara, you would never know the answer to this question. Nobody would be able to guess. So you know what it is? Says the Gemara, you need to uproot those hairs, which are halfway already uprooted. What's the reason why? Because if you don't, your hair won't be neat, because those hairs won't sit nice. That's the thing. Wow. So in order to have a nice comb, sharp, look sharp and good, you got to get rid of those hairs which are semi-uprooted, right? In Hebrew we call that meduldalot, right? Serot meduldalot. That's what they call it, right? Meduldal means it's like Italy you go right over there, like the Tower of Pisa, right? It's about to fall, it's leaning, right? So it's meduldal, it's almost like falling, Same thing with your hair. There's also hairs like this also. Same thing. Same idea, So this is what Gemara says. So Gemara says, you want to uproot those hairs. You want to. Because if you don't, it's not going to be neat, your hair. So if that's the case, says the Gemara, asur to brush your hair on Shabbat. This is the idea, right? So now comes the Shulchan Aruch.
What if there is something else? Not the brush. It's different.
All right, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the different ways to brush your hair, right? That's a question.
I don't think that's right explanation, because nobody realizes that they need to uproot it, they want to uproot it.
But you know what it is? You're right. We're not thinking about that. We're not thinking about it. You're right. But the truth is that you want it. In other words, in your subconscious,
you
want that because
maybe you need it.
The whole point of brushing your hair is to make it neat, So you want to look neat, and you want to do everything in your power to make yourself look neat. So therefore, you want to uproot those hairs. Now, it's interesting. Okay, I understand your question. Believe me, I've asked this question, what you're asking, 100 times in my head also. Because, it's not so clear. But this is the Gemara, So comes the Shulchan Aruch, and says, like the Gemara over there, in the Masechet Nazir, it says that it's asur, right, lisrok et hasiyar b'Shabbat. You're not allowed to brush, to comb your hair on Shabbat because of this reason that we mentioned. But, there's also another question. Which is also, if you study the laws of Shabbat, we just talked about the issue of Eno Mitkaven, right? You don't want something or you want something. It has to be something that you want in order to be liable for that, So this, we're saying you want that. But there's still also one more question that has to be answered, which is, Haim ze psik reshe. There's also a halachic concept that comes up in the Gemara and in the halacha, right, on Shabbat. Psik reshe. What does psik reshe mean? That means that, okay, I want that, but the question is, every time I stroke my hair, every time I take a stroke with my comb, every time, does it uproot the hair every time? It has to be like that. If it doesn't, it's not psik reshe. It's not for sure that every time you're going to uproot the hair. So if it's not for sure, the halacha would be that it's allowed, it's mutar. Even isur derabanan, there's no isur derabanan. Even rabbinical prohibition, there is not. That's what the Gemara asks also regarding psik reshe. So they say, the poskim talk about this. There's a tshuva of the Rivash, who was one of the big poskim, Rishonim. He was the last of the Rishonim, like he was very authoritative. Maran Bit Yosef brings them down very, very much over there in Halakha. The Rivash. Big posek, So he says over there, the Rivash, in his Tshuva, he had an argument with some Chacham in his generation, that they talked about this issue of combing the hair on Shabbat. So this rabbi wanted to say, the other rabbi, that it's mutar, you're allowed to do it. Why? Because not every time you take a stroke, you're going to uproot a hair. So came the Rivash and told him, this is not true what you're saying. It says in the Gemara and Poskim that every time you take a stroke, it does uproot the hair. So the question is why? Why every time you take a stroke, it uproots the hair? You know why? Because those hairs, which are partially detached, as we said, right? So what happens is that those hairs, they're very easy to uproot because they're already half uprooted. They're half uprooted already as it is. So you just like a little makar, a little brush, and it's already gone. Gone. That's it. Finished. Finito. Right? So therefore, says the Rivash that it's psikreshe. What does that mean? That it's considered to be something which is for sure. Because if it wasn't, it would be allowed. So this is Shulchan Aruch. So therefore, right, halacha is basically that we're not allowed to comb the hair on Shabbat.
This not dependent. Some people they have heavy hair and sitting strong. Some people, there is a story from Arizal. By mistake, he put his hair in Shabbat.
Yes.
And he stayed till Motzai Shabbat because
Right.
he said, if I will take my hand out,
Yes.
Right.
So I'm going to get to that in just 1 second. It's very important what you're saying, Rabbi.
I think I have very strong hair. If you peel it,
I think you have very strong everything. But that's something. Everything is very strong. Okay. So anyway, right, getting back to what we said. I just want to make the point over here, right? So the question is this psikreshe? So says the Rivash, it is. But in order to understand that, right, the rabbi, what he's saying is actually right. You know what it is? It depends on also your type of hair that you have. What does that mean? If you have like very short hair, like a crew cut, army, army haircut. It's not really a psikreshe, if you have like that. We're talking about a normal haircut, normal guy, you know what I'm saying? The average Joe. All the more so if it's a woman who has long hair, for sure 100%, right, she's going to uproot hairs.
Yeah, that's not...
Because if you look in the brush, right?
It depends also on the kind of the brush.
True. Yes. I'm going to talk about that.
That's what we're saying.
The rabbi is clever. He's getting all the answers over here, right? So I'm going to deal with that just in 1 second, right? So with the women, by the way, if you look, take a look at your sister, take a look at your wife, take a look at your mother. When they comb the hair, ton of hair is left over, ton.
In the brush.
My daughter is here now visiting, from Israel. She's 18 years old, and we have this like robot, vacuum cleaner. We'll talk about that. We have this vacuum cleaner, that's like a robot, these robots, they go around, like this, So the reason I bought this is because I want to have less work and more limud Torah, to study more and to work less. That's what it says in the Chazal, right? Right? Do more Torah and less melacha. So I have this robot that goes around and cleans up the carpet, the floor, whatever, right? Yeah. So what catches, right? All the time. Her hairs are, always, I see her hairs. It's not my hair because my hair is gray. Her hair is brown. You know what I mean? So like, I'm baseball. Every time the machine is full of hairs. You know why? Because every time these women they brush their hair, comes out 1 ton of hair. Barbina. It's unbelievable, right? So for the women, it's a little bit more dangerous. And I can tell you also, like with my beard, I've been growing this already for like more than 3 years. Like probably more than that. And it's, comes out a lot, I must tell you. This is like a woman, this is the, excuse my expression, right? That's the same thing. I have a very long beard. So, depends also on the length, many things, also the health of your scalp has to do with, but in general, right, says the Rivash is psikreshe. It's considered to be psikreshe. Now, something interesting, right, comes Maran, and I didn't see him writing this in the book, by the way.
He explains the concept of psikreshe.
Yeah.
Psikreshe means the person says, I want to play with the head of the chicken. So I want to cut the head, but to play with the head, I don't want to kill the chicken, I just want to, so it's impossible. If you want to play with the head of the chicken, you must cut it. If you cut it, is killing in Shabbat.
Right.
So
That's the
it's
idea.
impossible to play with the head of the chicken without killing it. So
Very
this
good.
means
The rabbis, you know why he brought this? Because he was just doing the chickens over there 2 weeks ago. So his mind is still fresh on the chickens.
this is the
Okay, God bless, Rabbi. God bless. So, right, what I'm telling you is like this, right? Now, something interesting. The truth is, there's also machloket over here, a little bit. As we said, right, Maran says you're not allowed to use any kind of comb to comb your hair on Shabbat. Even something which is softer, like, it says you're using animals, the teeth are made of animals' hairs.
chotki.
Right. Like it's a comb, but the teeth are made not plastic, not metal, not wood, but it's made of animal hairs. Chazir, Horis is Tmebia. That's it,
That's not allowed.
Horis Tmebia. So it says, no, it's a comb, but it's hardened, like they harden it, and they make it into a comb. So now it comes and says, the Shulchan Aruch, you're not allowed to use that. The Ashkenazim, the Magen Abraham, and some Achronim, they say, we're mikkel about that, we're lenient about that. The Ashkenazim are more lenient a little bit. According to Maran, you're not allowed to use that either. But comes now, right, the Maran, Rabbi Shalom, and he didn't write this in his books, but I was in his shiur. This was like, before he passed away. He passed away 8 years ago, Rabbi Shalom. So I saw the shiur about 10 years ago. He had a shiur every Saturday night, Motzi Shabbat. There was a shiur over there, and there was also other shiur in other places, but over there he had Motzi Shabbat. This was like something, the whole country was watching it. The whole world was watching it. It was on satellite, everything, Even in Iran they had the shiur, but Iran, they had it,
Saturday night.
Can you imagine?
Saturday night.
They had it in Brooklyn, they had it in Iran, they had it in France, they had it everywhere, the whole world was watching the shiur. And it was also broadcast on the radio in Israel. Everybody was listening to it, all the religious people. So what happened was like this, right? I was there, I wasn't listening on the radio, I was there. And he said, this is what he said, right? He says, okay, true, you're not allowed to use, a comb to brush your hair, to comb your hair on Shabbat. But he says, you know what? He said a chidush, something new, which I didn't realize that. He said, but you know what? You're allowed to use a brush. That's what he said. Made a chidush. In other words, any hairbrush, he allowed to use it. And he didn't say women or men, both. Even the rabbi's beard. Right?
Brush is softer, that's why.
Oh, it's softer. It's true. But the truth is, that it already says in Maran over there that the hairs of the chazir also are not allowed, even though it's softer. So it must be something else. So you know what he explained? The rabbi explained the reason why the brush is allowed is one reason. If you really look at the brush and you look at the comb, you see these are two different things, not the same thing. What's the difference? The comb, the bristles are very close together. Close. The brush, they're far. Oh. So what happens like this, right? So the rabbi now, what did he say? He said, I put my hand in my beard, I didn't take it out. This is Hasidut, it's not really halakha. The Ben Ish Chai talks about this. It's not really halakha. According to halakha, you're allowed to comb your hair with your hands. You're allowed to do that because it's not psik resha. You know what I mean? But the Hasidim, the big Mekubalim, even if it's not psik resha, they're machmir anyway. That's what it is. They're machmir on everything. That's already something else. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about for normally people like you and me. Whatever. Right? So what I'm saying is like this. So the rabbi says because the bristles are far apart in the brush and the comb is together, in the comb it's psik resha. It's 100% every time because they're close together. It's going to uproot the hair because two of them are coming together and squeezing and boom. But when it comes to the brush, since they're far away, so this is like almost like your hand. It's not really so close together. So therefore, he said the brush is allowed. This is a nice big chidush. If you want to take it, right, take it or leave it, whatever you want to do. You want to be machmir, Baruch Hashem, you can be machmir, no problem. I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to watch you, right? If you're using a brush or not. That's not my business. But if whoever needs a heter for this, he doesn't like to be messy hair, look like a mess, and he wants to look neat and nice on Shabbat. So according to Maran, as we said, he is allowed to use a brush. Why is that? Because it's not psik resha over there. Why is that? Because the bristles are far apart. ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנן כשאומר, עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות ישראל, לפי כך הרבה יותר מצוות שאנחנו לא נחפש, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה בידיר. ויתהדר ויתחלל ויתהלל שמם תשבר לחוד, ונעם מכל מלכת השבטת יש בחטא ונכון